Have you ever noticed that some decisions never seem to get made? Not bad decisions, difficult decisions. The conversation, the resignation letter, the business idea, the relationship, the thing you've been thinking about for the last 3 years. Strange, isn't it? Because you don't ignore it. You think about it constantly. You analyze it, research it, revisit it, discuss it. Maybe you've even made a plan. Or 3. And somehow, all that thinking never seems to produce movement. Why? Most people think they know the answer. They think they're waiting for clarity. Makes sense. If something is unclear, you should think about it. Gather information. Consider your options. Be responsible. Be careful. Take your time. Sounds wise. But here's the problem. If clarity was the thing you were missing, more thinking should help. More information should help. More analysis should help. And yet some of the most thoughtful people you know have been stuck on the same decisions for years. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What if clarity isn't the thing you're waiting for? And if it isn't, again, and again, and again. Action creates anxiety. Delay creates relief. Read that again. Action creates anxiety. Delay creates relief. That might be the entire story. The conversation feels uncomfortable. Avoiding it feels better. Starting feels scary. Waiting feels safer. You think you're searching for clarity, but what if you're actually searching for relief? Because relief feels surprisingly similar to progress. You postpone the decision, the anxiety drops. You decide to wait another month. The anxiety drops. You tell yourself, I'll think about it after the holidays. The anxiety drops. Your brain writes, excellent strategy. Let's do that again. And suddenly, something strange begins to happen. You start confusing relief with clarity. You think you're moving closer to the answer. But maybe you're just moving further away from discomfort. And here's what makes this trap so difficult to see. It often disguises itself as growth. You buy another book, watch another video, listen to another podcast, take another course, create another plan, and all of it feels useful because you're learning, and learning feels productive. The problem is that learning and moving are not the same thing. A person can spend years preparing for a life they never actually enter. Not because they lack information, because information became a hiding place. Knowledge is wonderful, until it becomes a substitute for reality. Reality has a rule. It doesn't care what you know. It only responds to what you do. And if that wasn't bad enough, the trap gets deeper. Because eventually, relief stops being a behavior. It becomes an identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who avoids things. You become someone who is careful, thoughtful, analytical, responsible. the story changes. And once the story changes, the trap becomes harder to escape. Because now you're not defending a decision, you're defending yourself. The person who thinks things through, the person who takes time, the person who doesn't rush. And some of that may even be true. That's what makes it dangerous. The best traps contain truth, but we're still not at the real cost. The real cost isn't stress. The real cost isn't anxiety. The real cost is time. Because years rarely disappear dramatically. They disappear quietly. One reasonable delay at a time. Think about it. Every major regret starts the same way. Not with a mistake, with a delay. The business that never started. The conversation that never happened. The move that never happened. The relationship that never happened. Nobody plans to miss their life. They just keep postponing it in reasonable increments. A week feels harmless. A month feels harmless. A year feels surprising. 10 years feels impossible. And yet that's exactly how it happens. One reasonable delay at a time. Most people imagine regret as some dramatic disaster. It usually isn't. It looks more like becoming a spectator in your own life. Watching opportunities pass. Watching years pass. Watching versions of yourself that never quite happened. The person you thought you might become never completely disappears. They just become harder to hear. And modern life makes this even easier, because today, avoidance can look productive. You can spend an entire day researching, planning, optimizing, learning, healing, preparing, watching videos about growth, listening to podcasts about courage, reading books about action, without touching the one thing that actually scares you. Which creates another illusion, the illusion of movement. You feel like you're getting closer, but closer and moving are not the same thing. And this leads to the question that actually matters. How do you know whether you're genuinely seeking clarity or simply avoiding discomfort? Here's a simple experiment. The next time you catch yourself saying, "I need more clarity," pause, then ask, what would I do next if clarity wasn't required? Not forever, just the next step, the next email, the next conversation, the next decision, the next uncomfortable thing. Notice what appears, because most of the time the answer arrives immediately. The action was never unclear, the discomfort was. And here's the strangest part of all. Most people think clarity creates action, but most of the time action creates clarity. You start, then you learn, you try, then you adjust, you have the conversation, then you discover what was actually true. Reality is smarter than thinking. Reality gives feedback. Thinking gives predictions. Reality gives evidence. Thinking gives theories. And if you're stuck, there's a good chance you already have enough theories. What you're missing is contact. Most people think the goal is to feel ready. It isn't. The goal is to stop making readiness a requirement. Because clarity rarely arrives first. Action does. Reality does. Feedback does. That's where clarity comes from, not before. After. See you next time.